Hello everyone, this is the pre-market report video for today 16th February 2024 for the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. Last night, before the US market opening, US Commerce Department released the January month retail sales data. Surprisingly, on month-on-month basis, it was contracted by 0.8% and a sharp drop in compared to December month where it increased 0.4%. Again, it was much bigger contraction than what analysts expected. Additionally, in the retail sales data, if we take the auto sales data out, then it's a core retail sales. Even there also, it contracted by 0.6%, contrary to the analyst expectation, 0.2% increase. We know on last Tuesday, US market had unfavorable inflation data, but it was decreasing but not as much as analysts expected. And now this retail sales data showing signs of more cooling in the future. Hence, market viewed this as positive since it will reduce the inflation pressure in the upcoming month. This is the first positive which influenced the overall US market. Second, like how on Wednesday night, Ray Dalio influenced the US market, last night it's Warren Buffett turn as Berkshire Hathaway filed their Q4 2023 filing. In that, they disclosed that they increased their portfolio in the petroleum sector stocks by about 9%. In addition, US-based oil company called Occidental Petroleum also reported a better than expected quarterly results. Both of these influenced and lifted the whole overall energy sector. However, on the negative side, there was a report released that OpenAI ChatGPT Group is developing a web search engine product. Here, due to its competition concerns over the Google search business, Google stock price dropped over 2%. But this was offset by positivity in Tesla as the Biden government made an announcement that they and the US automakers are finalizing the new regulations to fast track the electric vehicle transition, which made the Tesla stock to increase over 6%. So, overall US stock market ended on a positive note with S&P 500 up by 0.58%, Nasdaq increased by 0.3% and Dow Jones climbed 0.91%, largely supported by energy sector. Then VIX also decreased by 3% and dropped to 14. So the takeaway is, from my perspective, for now US market and global momentum is mildly positive, but in short term it might be in confused and possibly waiting for definite time period when the interest rate cut starts kind of. About oil, this retail sales data created a dollar sell-off in the international currency market, which is understandable, but not sure how it relates to oil. But according to Reuters, this dollar sell-off made the oil to increase over 1%. At the time of this video, WTI crude oil trading at $78 per barrel and Brent crude traded at near $83 per barrel. Coming to Indian ADR, all four major Indian stocks closed additional positive since Wednesday ADR positive close transferred yesterday, hence it's additional, and for now all four ADR implying the positive trade today. Here regarding HDFC Bank overwhelming positivity, we'll discuss in a moment. Then in terms of GIFT Nifty, at 3 AM Indian Standard Time, it closed at 22,107 and the premium increased to 85 points to the spot market. So based on today morning closing, it's kind of indicating 100 points gap up opening above 22,000 market. So that's the overall about the global market. Now let's move to the Indian market related info. First, quick takeaway from the yesterday's Indian market. Early morning, both Sensex and Nifty struggled for direction, but final 2-hour rally made it to close on the positive note for the third day in a row, mainly supported by HDFC Bank, M&M and PSU stocks. Here, M&M stock price increased 6.52% because analysts upgraded the stock price. Then for HDFC Bank, yesterday morning, bank's mortgage division head said in his press conference statement that earlier, before the merger, in July for HDFC's housing loan, only 30 to 35% people used the HDFC Bank saving account for repaying their home loan. Now, because of this merger, that number increased to 80%. So, those extra 50% of the non-HDFC Bank customers, but HDFC's housing loan holders, becomes the HDFC Bank customers in just 6 months. This is the huge positive since this also increased the savings account deposit, which in turn made the stock very positive. In addition, then after the stock market closed, HDFC Bank released their loan segment portfolio. In that, by the end of December, their home loan business grew over 20% with a total value of 6.84 lakh crore rupees. At present in India, SBI is the biggest housing loan provider. Their total loan worth by the end of December was 6.93 lakh crore rupees. So HDFC Bank is almost catching up to the SBI. Because this loan portfolio details was released in the aftermarket hours, maybe market might react to it today. Anyway, back to yesterday. Somewhere in the afternoon, Morgan Stanley restated their overweight stance rating on various Indian public sector companies such as NTPC, Power Grid, and upgraded BHEL stock price, which kind of supported all the public sector stocks. So if you see the top 5 Nifty contributors, it's just HDFC Bank, M&M and 3 PSU stocks. These 5 companies alone contributed for over 100 points on the positive side. Though in total, Nifty increased only 70 points. About institution, for the second day in a row, FII turned as mega seller with increased volume. Yesterday also, they net sold for approximately 3060 crore rupees. However, DII net bought for approximately 2290 crore rupees, which kind of balanced the things out. Then in the other news, rating agency Fitch downgraded the UPL stock to BB positive from BBB negative. UPL is one of the Nifty 50 stocks and market will react to it today. Finally, I don't know the impact, but just for info, yesterday RBI asked Visa and MasterCard to halt their payment system for the commercial issued credit and debit cards. So overall, as a summary, US market closed positive. In addition, there are some positivity around HDFC Bank. Let's hope it will materialize in the stock price. In line with that, all ADR indicating the positive trade and GIFT Nifty indicating the gap up opening of over 100 points. But however, I don't know the impact of RBI's halt in the commercial payment system. Moving on, as per stock open interest, Vedanta, Muthoot Finance, AU Small Finance Bank, HUL, Nestle, Lupin and Adani Enterprise got an increase in open interest along with a negative close, indicates the short build-up. On the other hand, NTPC, M&M, ICICI Lombard Insurance, Federal Bank and Canara Bank got an increase in open interest with a positive price close, indicating the long build-up. About the things to look out, during our market hours, UK retail sales data is due at 12:30 p.m. Then in the aftermarket hours at 5 p.m., India's bi-weekly bank's credit and deposit growth is scheduled to release. Finally, in the night, lots of US housing related macro are some of the important items we need to keep an eye out today. Coming to technical, yesterday Nifty opened 70 points gap up and finally it closed 71 points higher. Thus, on the daily chart, it formed a doji candlestick which indicates indecisiveness among buyers and sellers about the way ahead. Technically, such doji formations after a reasonable up move or down move signals the trend reversal. Now, having formed this pattern after the one day of up move doesn't show any predictive value, but we can say it's a minor trend reversal. However, on both hourly and daily momentum indicator, it has triggered a positive crossover, which is a buy signal and suggests the continuation of up move. If today Nifty managed to give a decisive close above the yesterday's high 21,950, then the more probable scenario is it to move near all-time high value 22,126. On the downside, first support is at 21,800 and then 21,500. In case of Bank Nifty, it opened 120 points gap up and closed 310 points positive. So on the daily chart, it formed a bullish candlestick pattern with a long lower shadow. And also it formed higher high and higher low formation for the third consecutive session. In addition, Bank Nifty managed to close above the 20 and 40 day moving average. All is a positive sign and indicates buying interest at the lower levels. Hence, if Bank Nifty goes past the immediate resistance of 46,600 to 46,800, it can move towards 48,000. On the lower end, support is shifted up to 45,800. Regarding options front, the maximum call option open interest was at 21,900 strike, followed by 22,000 and 22,200 strikes, with meaningful new call option writing at 21,900 strike and and then 22,300 strike. Thus, from the options data, 21,900 will be crucial for either side. Whereas on the put side, the maximum open interest was at 21,900 strike followed by 21,800 strike, with new put option writing at similar strikes in the same sequence. Hence, with immediate support at 21,800 and resistance at 22,000. So that's all in this video. Hope you all got some useful information. Please consider subscribing the channel and liking the video so it will help me beat the YouTube algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investigation based on this, as I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm doing this for me and viewers' educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.